All right, welcome to another episode of Living Off an Income Portfolio, update number 14, I believe. This is going to be November 2025 update. So, a few things. I changed my headphone because the other one finally crapped out. So, the sound going to be a little bit different. So, if it's too loud, too quiet, just let me know. I can adjust it for the future. On the recording, I think this is okay. So, I'm going to go with this one. Um, this video was coming a little late because we're going into winter in Canada, so it get dark really fast. Usually when I time to come home around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. The lighting is pretty good, so I try to record while I have a good natural light because my room light is not that great. Um, but lately coming home at 5, it's been really dark, so I try to like, oh, you know what, I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow come home dark again. I'll do it tomorrow, and then I don't want to push it too much, so I'm gonna do it a little bit earlier today. That's why my head is all like a little bit messy. Okay, so let's get into it. So I posted the Blossom update of the portfolio, I think about a week and a half ago. So it's pretty much the moment I posted it, the market tanked, right? So this is actually like the highest point of the month so far. 1.165 million, that is the main portfolio right now. And basically the moment I posted it, the next day it dipped, like start dipping like crazy. The past week and a half it been just kind of like market has been dropping a lot. Um, we actually got a sign on some of the put position that we sold as well. We will take a look at the main portfolio after the update version. So just want to talk about one thing about the portfolio is quite geared toward technology, which in turn is going to be higher beta. What it means is that if it moves more, let's say the market move $1, this portfolio going to move $2. So it's going to be more receptive and vice versa, right? Market drop one, it's probably going to drop two. So it's a little bit more volatile. You do have higher growth at the cost of higher risk. I try to balance it with the preferred shares and like a VFV core portfolio position. But then SWT, YMAC, JFQ, YTSL, those is going to be very volatile position. Anyhow, so this is the at the time of posting, I think this was November 11. We were No, actually, this is not the right number. This is a week after that. Then we dropped like 30K. Anyway, let's look at the current portfolio. So today is November 24th. We do have a big green day today. So the portfolio kind of bounced back up to about 1.18. Still doing pretty good compared to last month. If we do like from month to month to this point, we're still up a little bit. We were down 30K as you can see this picture before. I should have put a date here, but I didn't put a date. So we did sell some put on BMNR and Hood. So of course we got a sign on those one. BMR is a little bit taking a little bit of beating right now. Um, the logic in this one is because the premium was so good, and then I thought that maybe Ethereum gonna be used in a lot as a foundation for a lot of stable coins and tokenization that we're going through. So I did that. Of course, we are down quite a bit on these two positions, probably down together maybe 20K. So the probably should be a lot higher if we didn't do this. So far for the year we are down, I think net if we were to sell right now, probably down about maybe 8K on just the option selling portion alone. So one thing I learned because I used to be pretty heavy into trading before, and then when you go to position, sometimes I would go too hard. So this time around, you learn a lot from your experience because I've been probably like, trading, investing all together probably close to 20 years now. One thing I learned is that position sizing really matter. So back then, if let's say if I was me myself 6, 7 years ago, I would probably like, BMNR, I believe in it, I would go like super heavy, like, maybe half portfolio would go into it. And then not margin, but like half portfolio go into it. And when it drop, you really feel the pain, right? But this time around, I would say this is like fairly small, maybe 2%, 3% portfolio. So when it really dip hard like this one, it dipped from 45, 50 down to like 31. This is like almost 50%. It sucks, but it doesn't matter too much. Like it matters, but like it doesn't. You don't feel like like oh my god, my pants is burning. So position sizing matter, especially on the higher risky position. So that's just one thing that you want to keep in mind doing these things. Hood, I'm not really worried. BMNR is a little bit more like a riskier position. Hood is already risky in terms of like, because it was quite high valuation, but BMNR is also another level of risky for sure. Okay, so everything else doing well. The main portfolio is holding up quite nicely. I'm not really going to talk much about it. I was thinking that do have some preferred share position that I was thinking of. If the market keep dipping, I might sell some of these and then, reallocate into the more broader market, tech related for a better rebound. These preferred shares are basically like a debt instrument in a way. So, during the market dip, they basically not really moving at all actually. So they work as intended. Okay. Anyway, sorry, my chair is kind of creaking. I don't know if you can hear. Oh yeah, the margin balance went up because of we got a sign on these two positions, and that's okay. Let's go look at VFV portfolio. Okay, so VFV portfolio, let's look at the time recording. At the time, they were at 1,052,000, going up nicely, and currently it is at 1,039,000. VFV, you're not really gonna have much worry if it dips, it will come back because it's for a long term, and then unless you expecting like a civilization collapse, it'll be fine over in the long term. Come down to The only issue come down to like some of my friend asked me, oh, if I need money to buy a house in 2 years, should I invest it in VFE? That is a little bit more tricky because in the short term anything could happen, so you might want to be a little bit more cautious about how badly you needed money in the 2 years and all these other things. So that's one thing to keep in mind. XEQT last, okay, at the time of recording, that time it was 1,084,000. Currently it at 1,075,000. VFV once again proved to be very resilient. Like during the dip, it dipped it barely dipped, and sure it recovered not as fast as like tech related, but overall volatility is quite low, growth is quite good. It's very good all-rounded ETF. Usually, if my friend asks me, okay, I want to invest for retirement, this would be one of my best recommendation. XQT, VFV, and of course, if you want some income, sure, you can invest in corporate call ETF and stuff like that. But how do I say this? I think that a lot of people kind of misunderstand some people purpose of corporate call ETF, right? Personally, I feel like investing should be exciting. So if you invest, like a 50% of your income into corporate call ETF, and I'm not talking about like, crazy yield max paying 100% stuff like that. Like decently strategized corporate call ETF with some decent track record. If you invested, you get paid 2,000, you invest 500 into every paycheck into it, and it makes you excited about investing and make you want to invest more and learn more. I think it's the win. If it makes you want to learn more, invest more, it can't be bad. Like sure, like if you are young and you're doing growth for long term, and then you miss out on 1%, but you learn so much more, I think it's worth it. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how I look at it. Okay, gotta breathe a little bit. Sorry, my nose has been very stuffy. It's the winter time. Okay, let's look at next portfolio, HYLD. So at the time of posting in Blossom, it was at 1,072,000. Currently, it is at 1,048,000. It actually, the gap is widening. Okay, like this is one thing that I'm quite surprised is that let's look at VFV 11052, right? It was like 1072. It's actually the gap for HYLD and VFV is widening a little bit. Sure, it kind of dropped back down due to the recent dip, but this is quite surprising because I assume that HYLD is full on cover call. It generally would create a lot of drag in terms of returns, and usually, despite the margin, it's a little hard to keep up with the low fee full on growth portfolio. But so far, it beat my expectations, same as XEQT. It's really doing well in the up market. Of course, in down market, margin gonna exacerbate the downside as well. But so far, doing good. Like despite all the withdrawal, you can see the withdrawal over here. Because HYD pays so much, we did slap a 7% tax upfront on it. Usually you pay tax at the end of the year. But this one we're doing upfront. And so far, because it pays so much, even after tax, we have to buy back the shares. So we are at 4,200 buy for this year. So far, everything's going good. Okay, let's look at the comparison. So the new line is just for up to date so far, okay? So you can see that every portfolio been going quite nicely, but it kind of trailing the market because market been going quite strong. Except the April, we see the dip over here. And then, okay, let me just move this over here so you can see the April drop over here. And of course, the recent dip over here, you can see quite a bit. Our portfolio was basically making a good lead, of course, because of high tech exposure, high beta. When the drop happened, it's going to drop harder. This is within the expectation. Okay, so if you've never seen this page, this is basically how I track my withdrawal and how the portfolio growth. This is the withdrawal amount, so every portfolio is being withdrawn the same way, the same time, well, generally the same time every month. This is amount withdrawal, and this is how it's grow. The portfolio start being tracked on November 19, 2024. However, I did retire. No, I don't really like to use retire. Like take on indefinite sabbatical in I think about June of 2024. So far, I think when I first started, we were at about 850K. So now we at about 1.118. So far everything's good. Okay, let's take a look at the goal. Okay, so this is the so far goal. Read books. He's been quite slacking lately because of a lot of health issue with my parents. So we've been kind of being more alert, and the weather being kind of gloomy. Don't really feel like doing it. New restaurants so far good. We actually we rarely we were okay. Me and my wife, we're a creature of habit, so we have a hard time trying new things. But so far this is good. Duolingo, we only reach it, so we killed it on that one. So not gonna put it there. They add a new chess program, so I did dabble into that a little bit. Cooking new dishes, we also killed that one. Emergency fund, it's going slower than I thought because of oh sorry, not we. I recently got into new hobby, Magic the Gathering. So we've been spending quite a bit of money. I don't want to say how much, so that kind of take away the refill emergency fund a bit, but that's okay. We're still on track-ish. So rewatch Commanding Height, been very slacking. Finishing eBay listing, haven't touched at all. Okay, so now it's the month-to-month change. So this is actually from I think about 11 of October up to today. I know it's not exactly 1 month, but I haven't updated this yet. So this is kind of the number we have right now. So yeah, that's the update for the month. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you have any question, please let me know. I do have a Blossom page that generally I post an update a little bit earlier. Also the Reddit as well. So if you want to see a little bit early update in the written form, generally just give you a follow on those one. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time.